Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I have your very first gameplay and overview of the HAL HF-24. This is the top level reward for the Spirit of the Tempest event, and is of course currently rank 5 battle rating 9.0. Now this is an Indian vehicle and is a strike aircraft in, of course, the Great Britain Air Force's tech tree. Unfortunately, it is not a premium, but as you can see here, it is rank 5. Now, in my opinion, just before we even get into anything, I feel like this might be a slightly high BR to be where it is. 9.0 and rank 5, that just seems a little bit weird, and its capabilities, while good, are not necessarily amazing. It's got a good rate of climb, but nothing amazing. It's got a decent top speed, but again, nothing amazing. There's no afterburners on this jet, and really, quite honestly, its stats do seem a little bit high for what I've been noticing from it in my somewhat limited gameplay experience thus far. Now, otherwise, if you look here, these are its weapons that it can have. It can carry the Nasser 240, which are actually pretty decent rockets. It can carry, of course, 1,000-pound bombs with both the tail fin and also regular bombs. And you also have 540-pound bombs plus a bunch of rockets. Now, if you notice here, it can carry a Snap Type 23 rocket, 50 of them, underneath right here in sort of a tray. And that is one of the most devastatingly powerful armaments you can have in War Thunder around this BR. If you don't believe me, definitely check it out when I play some CAS with this thing, because it's essentially a rocket shotgun. Otherwise, this thing is pretty decent. I mean, it's got a good armament for its cannons, 4 30mm Aidens, with 520 rounds in total, which isn't all too bad. So that said, let's go ahead and get into a few matches here. We'll play Air AB, Futurestein here, I meant to say Air RB, and then we'll play some Ground RB and see what we can do. So here we are with the HF-24, and in order for you to go with a completely empty loadout, so basically more or less what you're going to want for Air RB, at least when it comes to dogfighting, you have to create your own custom loadout, so bear that in mind. I decided not to do a completely empty loadout, because as you can see here, we have the rocket tray, and I just kind of want to show you guys that in action before we before we get into CAS. But otherwise, I mean, the overall power of this thing is better than I thought. This does get an air spawn, being that it is a strike aircraft at rank 5, which is really, really nice. So even though we are in these higher BR matches, like 9.0 BR is just, for air battles, is probably too high for this thing. But, you know, it does get the air spawn, which is nice. Now, the roll rate isn't bad. It's not great. I'd say it's like a 4.5 out of 10. It's definitely usable, especially when there's nothing on the wings. And also, this is the cockpit. As you can see, nothing really all too crazy here. It looks good. You know, it's definitely one of the good-looking cockpits that Gaijin has made. But we're going to go ahead and just climb up here. I don't know why I was just kind of completely not using my my advantage of having a strike air spawn. But as you can see, I mean, the rate of climb, even when flying more or less straight up, not too terrible when at least you have kind of a head of speed. But overall, once we get straightened out there, acceleration to kind of get your speed back up isn't terrible, but it's not really great either. This thing really is not going to be a speed demon. It's just such a tough thing. I feel like it's not very good, just based on a whole bunch of things, in Air RB at 9.0 BR. However, it might be okay in Ground RB at 9.0 BR, but it lacks ballistics computers, so we'll have to see. And also, a big problem with this, I'm going to go ahead and just launch a bunch of missiles at this thing, is that Great Britain only has, I think, they don't have any 9.0, look at that shotgun, by the way. Beautiful. Doesn't really do much damage, unfortunately. But I don't believe Great Britain really has any sort of decent ground RB, or any ground RB at all at 9.0 BR. It's like 8.3, 8.7, and then 9.3 and beyond. So it's like you either have to equip this to like a 9.0 BR squadron, or rather an 8.7, or something like 9.0 BR plus. So that kind of sucks. We have ourselves this F-104. Doubt I'm going to be able to actually hit him, but who knows, right? Yeah. Got the kill! Very nice. I really like these Aidens. The maneuverability on this thing really is not bad. It's better than I expected. Let's put those flaps on. Not breaking it over 700 kilometers per hour, which is actually quite nice. A lot of vehicles at and around this BR do have an issue with flap breakage beyond 700, 800 kilometers per hour, but this seems to be doing just fine. This F11 thought he was going to be able to get on me. Nope, and we have ourselves a second kill. MiG-21 down here. I'm a bit worried about... Okay, I got killed. No biggie. So we have ourselves 2 kills. What I like to do, especially when it comes to vehicles that are just first coming out, I always like to show what their capabilities are. Sorry about that. That was a really loud explosion. And so I'm not going to be like, oh, here's 50 kills. You know, it's like, these are my 2 match, or this is my, my match. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Got 2 kills. They were both in head-ons. 30mm cannons are very powerful. It's got a nice air spawn. That said, let's get into another ARB match. Equip some bombs this time and see how it does in that way. Okay, so here we are. We have the 4 bomb loadout. These are the the HC or HEMC Mark 13s. They actually have a pretty decent amount of explosive filler equivalent in them, almost 300 kilograms each, which is definitely nice. And we're going to go for this target here. Now, I'm not entirely sure if it's 2, 3, or 4 bombs, but we can just see. But otherwise, I mean, like, it's not bad. Like, as a bomb carrier, because it has its strike aircraft air spawn, and in a weird way, being that it is 9.0 BR, it actually means that most enemies that you fight are not going to get their air spawn. So, we are diving in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to pull up. Look at those air brakes. Those are very Swedish air brakes, or Swiss, or whatever it is. I'm going to go ahead and just take those air brakes off. We have A4Es right here. I'm going to probably go for the one behind, just because it always makes... You know what? This guy's closer. You know, you always hope for the best, but sometimes you only get the worst. Not a big deal, yo. Can I hit this fella? Maybe I can, maybe I can't, who knows? We are fast enough where I think most fighters are really... Oh, that's not good. No countermeasures, but let's go ahead and turn in on this guy a little. Move up. And take those air brakes off. Now, one thing I'm noticing, maybe it's just me, I don't know, but it feels like there's a decent amount of energy loss in turns with this thing. Again, I may be wrong, but if that's the case, then that would suck. Otherwise, I mean, it actually has a decent amount of ammo in order for it to actually be able to fire for all that long. I mean, typically 30s don't have as much ammo as this. We're just going to go ahead and just launch the rest of those on it. And can we get a tick? There's no tick off. So sometimes when you get just close enough, it kind of starts destroying itself, but that's not the case here, because why would it? So I guess this vehicle does not have enough firepower to destroy a single base, which really sucks. And this is not an up tier, mind you, so it's just, that really, really, really sucks. Got the kill. Again, like, when it comes to head-ons, holy crap. If you're good with head-ons, this vehicle actually might be amazingly good. Also, again, the maneuverability on it seems to be decent enough where it's like, I'm not all too worried about it, if that makes any level of sense. We have ourselves a decent hit on whatever aircraft that was. I'm still able to maneuver despite the damage to my aircraft, but you are going to want to actually carry some level of fuel with you, as you can see. My, I don't know how you can cheat in Air RB, but hey, whatever. Because as you can see, I'm running low on fuel. So I'm going to probably do another head-on with this MiG-19 if I can help it, which apparently I cannot, but we're going to try for some side shots here. No luck. And then we're going to go ahead and land. But otherwise, I mean, insofar as my first impressions are concerned of this aircraft, I'm actually pretty impressed with it for air battles. It's not an amazing aircraft, don't get me wrong, but for a gunfighter at 9.0 BR, it really isn't bad. It's more maneuverable than its stat card lets on. I feel like it has some issues with, it's got some issues when it comes to, ooh, this guy's he's trying to come after me. But it's got some issues when it comes to energy bleed, which unfortunately really, really, really sucks. We're going to go ahead and turn in on this guy, put those flaps on. No breakage at this speed, which is nice. And I only have 20 rounds left, so I'm going to try to chicken him. And did not work. But, that said, we have a decent amount of, I shot right over him. If I only shot like a few inches lower, I probably would have gotten the kill. But not too bad. 2 kills this match, 2 kills the first match. Like I said, I want to show you guys more or less what you can expect with this aircraft in any given battle. I'm not just here to show off, you know, and be like, oh, I got 20 kills. I've already said all that stuff. But from my first impressions thus far for ARB, I'm actually kind of impressed with it. It doesn't gain speed all too quickly, but it hits speed pretty well. It hits about 1,100 kilometers per hour pretty well. Has a really nice air spawn, excellent armament. Its bomb loadout is a bit meh. And it has decent or good maneuverability, but bad energy retention. So that's it. Let's go ahead and get into a CAS match with this thing. Try it out versus some ground targets. So here we are with the CAS loadout. I've decided to equip the Nasser 240s as well as, of course, the 1,000 pounders. And we also have the SNEBs, which I am so excited to be using here because, as I said before, and as I kind of showed you already, they are a rocket shotgun in many ways. So we're going to go for this guy here. He seems to be the most, well, he just seems to be sitting there. So let's see if we can get ourselves a nice kill. Ooh, and we can. I kind of fired a few too many on him. That's totally fine. Oh, I love it. But, I mean, overall, the maneuverability on this thing is fine. Bear in mind, I do have an ace crew. Not that that matters all too much, but, you know, some people may be interested to know that. I'm going to go ahead and just launch a single volley on him. Ooh. 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 That accuracy. Ooh, Lord. Woo! Now, as you can tell, this thing does not have ballistics computers for anything, unfortunately, as I've already shown you guys. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just drop a 2,000 or a 1,000 pounder on this fella here. Pull up, because it doesn't have the best pull-up maneuver. Or, it's not the most capable vehicle to pull up. But like I said, I mean, like, it doesn't gain speed all too well. It's not like the greatest accelerator. It seems to bleed speed pretty badly when it comes to, you know what, I might, you know, I'm going to go ahead and just drop a bomb on this fella here. And, ooh, that might have been a touch too far up on him, but who knows, right? We have ourselves a 4th kill. 4 for 4, basically. So 4 targets, 4 kills. This thing is actually pretty good. I mean, it's not that the plane is really all that good when it comes to CAS. I mean, let's face it, it's pretty, you know, it doesn't have any special capabilities. The ordnance that it can carry, now those are pretty good. But we only have ourselves 4 kills. I didn't get the last one there, but at least we have ourselves a very nice assist. Which, I mean, assists are in many ways, they can lead to a kill. So, I mean, I really can't complain thus far. This thing is actually a pretty gnarly CAS aircraft. I mean, it's, again, it's nothing special insofar as the aircraft is concerned for CAS. You know, truthfully, it's just not. It doesn't, like, have any sort of, like, oh, well, this thing has, like, a laser designator, or it's got ballistics computers, or, you know, even afterburners. You know, nothing special in that regard. However, the ordnance that it has, I mean, I have 4 kills out of 5 targets, and the 5th one, at least, was still an assist. Like, that's pretty damn good. And this is my first match with CAS with this. Well, the first one before, you know, without me being blown out of the sky. So, you know, the other ones, it was just like, oh, you know, I was either blown out of the sky or it took me too long to pull up. And I died by crashing into a building, you know. And bear in mind also, like, the AirRB matches, pretty much the same thing. Like, with the exception of matches that I'm playing in which I die more or less immediately, yeah, I just put in whatever. Like I'm not here to put in like a showcase other than what I kind of feel about the aircraft, like an honest showcase, if you will. Also, this thing is just gliding over the runway, really oddly. But that being said, not entirely sure how much longer this match is going to go on for. I'm expecting it'll probably end before I get back to whatchamacallit. I'm just going to break the landing gears here. That way I can hopefully repair and reload a little bit sooner. But how do I feel about this aircraft? I'm actually quite impressed with it in some ways. Again, at 9.0 BR, it's a little bit weird. On one hand, I feel that it's actually pretty good. On the other hand, not really. I feel like this could do 8.7 in air battles, maybe 9.0 in ground RB, maybe. It's oh man, this is actually a really tough one, because on one hand, I don't really feel like the plane itself is special, but for ground attack, it's actually quite good, even in spite of the plane's limitations. I feel like it has good maneuverability. Is this kind of shaped like a Swift? I don't know. But I feel like it has pretty good maneuverability. It has, not great acceleration. It's got pretty good top speed. Meh roll rate. It's got a lot going for it, but there's also a lot not going for it. So at 9.0, it's definitely usable. I feel like this would be a very strong 8.7. It's just a really tough BR currently. Maybe more decompression would help. I'm not sure. So insofar as actual, like, how much this should be purchased for, this is not a premium. So if you're going to buy this thing on the marketplace and you're looking for a close air support aircraft for Great Britain, this will do. Genuinely. I don't think that this is one of the worst aircraft that they've ever had, and definitely it's a unique aircraft too. So I mean, it's got a lot going for it, and I feel like it's actually quite a good vehicle. It's just kind of lacking in some ways. You got to know what you're getting into. It has no air-to-air missiles. It just has enough faults to it where it's like, I don't know. It's tough to say exactly what I would rate it at, what I would like sell it at. But I would probably say a decent enough purchase price is going to be like $30, $35 at most. Again, this is not a premium. Oh, he hit me! He was waiting for me. No kidding, but look at that. The durability on this thing really is not bad. So that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side. Again, $30 or so, not a bad deal.